all know that video.
Yes, we do.
Yes, we do.
We all remember that one.
Very talked about video. Look at those ladies. They all look the same.
I know.
Hey, that's Robert Palmer's song, of course, Addicted to Love. It's definitely a very catchy tune, but is it really true? Can you get too much of a good thing?
So love addiction may sound made up, but it is a real problem. And falling for a love addict could turn your next relationship toxic. Dr. Brenda Schaeffer, author of Is It Love or Is It Addiction, joins us now with the scoop. Thanks so much for being here.
You're welcome.
So we kind of joke addicted to love,
yeah.
but it can really cause some problems in people's lives.
Definitely. And first we should probably give a definition of it. Basically, it's any time you're using a person, romance, or sex as a drug. And as a clinician, I see it as people actually trying to heal something, trying to solve a problem, trying to keep their life in balance. But in so doing, they go out of balance. That's the paradox.
How much does it have to do with self-esteem? Needing someone to feel good about yourself?
Well, I've found that it's not necessarily about self-esteem. For some people it is, that they're trying to get some self-esteem, something affirmed. That is one of the signs that your esteem will wane if that person moves away or doesn't approve of you or approve of something you do.
So we've got some kind of high-profile examples of people who have different types of love addiction that you're going to go through for us. So the first one is Drew Peterson. So remind us of this story and what's the deal?
Well, I think briefly we know that he's the person who is being prosecuted for possible murder of a wife, and he's been involved with 4 women now. And basically, I call it love addiction because he cannot not be in a relationship. And he seems to also need to control that relationship. And that is one of the signs of addictive love. There's an inequity of power. And there's sometimes even sadomasochistic kinds of behavior, meaning that he might be doing something hurtful to a person that's a victim.
Are they equally as big a problem? Having that need to be in a relationship and that need to control the relationship?
Oh, I think sometimes the need to control, as I said, that's a part of addictive love, but that there's always an escalation then if someone wants to move away. Yeah. And they're more invested in having control of that person than loving that person.
Well, and you hear a lot about that with women, I think, who say, like, oh, well, he just really cares about me. Yeah. He wants to know where I am. He wants to know what I'm doing. And there's a fine line there, probably.
They get a high off of that. And one thing about love addiction, there is a chemical component. And we're using people to turn on feel-good feelings or chemicals in our brain.
Okay.
Well, the next example we have is Lisa Nowak. You may know her as the NASA astronaut, and of course she got in trouble for chasing down the girlfriend of her ex-lover.
Yes, and possessiveness, jealousy are very evident in especially romantic love. Now, if you look at her picture, the before and after, you can see a person who is functioning and then not functioning. And I want to say something. When someone leaves us, there's a tendency to want to cling, or we get mad at them. But in this particular case, she was not able to turn on that ability to control her emotions, and the fatal reflex, we call it, took over.
So this was kind of a stalking situation, and you say that, you know, kind of say, some people even joke, I'm stalking you, whatever, I mean.
Right, well, people go into withdrawal, and they get depressed, and so they want that chemical. They think it's the person, but they want that chemical fix.
Do you think stalking happens a lot?
It happens more often, and maybe in subtle ways, like checking someone's cell phone, you know, or...
yeah, that's a red flag.
Or, you know, it's a subtle form of stalking, but it's checking up on someone that you want to hang on to.
Okay.
How about Governor Mark Sanford? Another example, of course, Governor Mark Sanford, well known as he went to visit his Argentinian lover and said that was his soulmate. Well,
it may or may not be, but the thing, as I said, you know, I haven't seen any of these people in person, so this is a diagnosis strictly by the news. But I think he shows evidence of both romance and sex addiction. And I distinguish between love addiction, romance addiction, sex addiction. He probably has all three. And affairs are very powerful. Just about every good feeling chemical goes off in your body. It's kind of like an emotional charge.
Maybe aside from the crushing guilt.
Right.
Well, I was going to say, there's one that probably doesn't feel so good.
But the thing I want to emphasize there is his secret life. People say, well, you know, if he loved this person, why was he doing this over there? And sex addicts, romance addicts can have the ability to keep these two separate. They have like a door that goes down, so when he's at home, he's a good father, good wife, he's a good politician. That's real. And then when he's over here, that's real. And those two parts don't communicate.
Okay, if you're looking at your own relationship right now, either yourself or the person you're with, how do you know that there's a love addiction of some sort going on in your relationship right now?
Well, I think, for one thing, you stop feeling safe to be yourself. You may not trust this person. You feel that that person is pulling away from you. There's more abusive behaviors. You tend to, your growth is stunted, or they try to stunt your growth. You begin to change your behavior to adapt to that person. You begin little by little giving up pieces of yourself, your spontaneity, your creativity, your capacity for intimacy, and there's usually a lot of high drama.
So what do? Do you approach them, the spouse or the lover?
Well, I think that oftentimes it's mutual. I mean, I see people, either they've just left a relationship and they see a pattern of choosing the wrong people or being dumped once again, and they need to get to the base of it. Because I believe on a psychological level, love addiction makes perfect sense. And until people find what the core issue is, what are they trying to fix? What are they trying to get? That they would do such desperate behaviors to get it.
Thank you so much, Dr. Schaeffer. We really appreciate it. Pretty interesting. All right. Well, Dr. Brenda Schaeffer has more questions designed to help you identify addictive relationships in your life. Just head to KSTP.com and click on Twin Cities Live.